Hello and welcome to Activating Abundance with the Akashic Records. I'm Jenny Hala, the Akashic Nomad. I'm really excited to be here. So, if you're new to me, I work with the Akashic Records and I am doing lives right now. Could be more, but the ones I'm committing to are twice a month. So on the 11th of every month, I am going live and giving free mini Akashic record readings. And on the 22nd of every month, I'm going live with a channeled message like today. And so as we are all coming into this space, whether you're on live or replay, it does not matter. As we're all coming into this space, I invite everybody to let's just take some deep breaths together to come into the space because there is a lot that's going to be coming through. So we're going to inhale. Exhale when you're ready. Inhale a second time. Exhale when you're ready. And one last time, inhale. And they're saying a big, big exhale. Let it all out. We're all here together. And just a couple reminders as well. If you're not already on my list, I'm giving free channel messages from the Akashic Records every week. And so if you want that in your inbox, you can sign up at jennyhala.com. I would love to have you a part of that. They're super fun. They're super powerful and potent. So would love to have you there. And we are going to pull some cards today. And I decided that I'm going to pull cards right here direct on the live so you can see me do it so that there's no oh, you already picked that out. I did pull one ahead of time and the card said leap and, just trusting us to all take the leap, which I think is perfect as it relates to activating abundance. So I'm going to pull a card first and one just fell out. So the first one that came out, and I'm being guided to pull two, is take a break. Life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. That's the first card. Now I'm going to pull the second one here. And if you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. I know there's a few of you on, so type in the comments where you're watching from, where in the world, because I do have this one was a little bit later in the day, so I know it could accommodate different time zones. So let's see what the second card is for us today. It's really hard based on my thing here. This is fun. No, wait, postpone, pause, say no. Oh man, we're talking about abundance here. And this is really, really good because the two cards that came out, if you're just now getting here, are no and take a break. And this is telling me a lot here. This is telling me that some of you are probably hustling quite a bit for abundance. And where and how can the abundance come in ways that you maybe aren't thinking of? And one of the things that the guides let me know they'd be talking about today is why you may not be as open as you think. I feel like these cards speak to that a little bit. And it's a good reflection for us to really think about that. So just to let you know how today's going to go, I'm going to tap in and see what they have to share about this. And if you have any questions, like general questions about abundance, I will be tuning into those as well. And I'm going to give, share the information based on your questions, based on what the guys are saying for everybody. So in a way, it's kind of like a mini reading for you, but more like a reading for everybody with you're the one initiating the question. So without further ado, give me a second and let me tune in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. They're saying that abundance is a topic that many are searching for. Many are wanting more understanding, more meaning, more depth, more, they're like more money, more money. So many of you are focused on money, the money aspect of abundance. And they're saying abundance is a frequency that allows us to tap into abundance that goes beyond the financial portion. And they're inviting you that if you are focusing on the financial portion of abundance, to be open to what else how else you can see abundance in your life, how else you can recognize the abundance that's already around you. And for me, they're bringing a vision to me of something today that I noticed is I this morning I went into like an energy healing system called the EE system, and coming out of it, I noticed how much more vibrant the leaves and the colors were out around me. And they're wanting me to bring this up because that is a form of abundance. And they're also saying here too that one of the key things with this abundance piece is the gratitude. They're showing me like that they go hand in hand. Like it's like you can't have abundance without gratitude. And seeing the abundance of the colors like I felt and experienced today, the abundance and the beauty of the crispness and the vibrancy of these colors, there also is at the same time the ability to have deep gratitude for what it is that we have in our lives and what it is that we're experiencing in our lives. And they're saying that that is a key thing is what we are experiencing in our, ooh, I felt the energy really strong in my solar plexus there, like what we are experiencing even within our lives. That is huge. Ooh, that is huge. That's a big one. And I'd love to hear in the comments, whether you're live or on replay, like, are you feeling this energy too, or what does that bring up for you? Whew, that is strong. That is a really strong energy. Let me tune in and see if they want to share anything about that. Okay, so they're sharing that there are some of you who are chasing things externally out in your environment. You're looking for things in your environment to like give you what you need, when really what you have is within your body, and it's the ability to feel and have this within your body. That is one of the most important things that we can tap into is being present and being embodied like in our bodies. That is, they're saying that is a big foundation to abundance. And they're also saying that you cannot align to abundance if you're not in your body. If you are not in your body and you're always out looking for other things and you're always out searching and out in the universe and out floating in the ethers, you cannot really tap into the frequency of abundance in the 3D life, because they're saying that bringing the abundance into the 3D life is really about embodiment and being in your body. And I am feeling energy so strongly in my body right now. Like it's going up and down my spine. And I'm feeling it just really like I'm feeling like they're having me feel even more grounded and rooted in this moment and in this space. And they're wanting me to invite you to feel that too, to feel yourself in this space, in this moment, in this now. And they're asking me to give a moment of silence for you to be able to listen. They're saying, listen to what is coming up for you with this moment of silence. They're saying that they're sending a message to you through and with your guides is how they're saying it. And they're saying it's okay if you don't get it right away. There's nothing wrong with you, but to be open to receiving. So just sit in this moment, come into your body, be present in your body, be present where you are, and just we'll all sit in this silence for what message, idea, thought, whatever it is that comes through. Mm. So what's coming through for me, and I'd love to see in the comments what's coming through for you, is what's coming through for me is love, like the frequency of love. And when we're able to come into our bodies and we're able to operate from a place from our hearts, it helps us to align to the frequencies of abundance. And this comes up in my readings a lot, where they're giving guidance to different people who are coming in and inviting people to ask for things from their heart and not from their head. And they're bringing me back to these cards that came up in the beginning. How can you ask for things from your heart instead of your head that allow you to, oh, this one, take a break when your heart is telling you to take a break from whatever it is? And there's glare. Let's put it over here. And to say no, even though it may not make sense in your mind. They're wanting me to bring those back up for you. Okay, so Michelle says, my heart is at the same beat, but beat harder during that time. So Michelle, they're saying with this, when this comes up, asking what is the gift is what they're saying. Like, what is the gift? What is the gift and what is the message here? And they're sharing that the heart beating a little bit harder in that time. Is there something, there's like, they're saying that it's like there's something you're holding on to. And they're saying it's something you're holding on to that you're like afraid to let go of. You're afraid to let go of in a way. And so your heart is beating faster. And they're even sharing with me like a sense of tightness in my back with that. Like there's like this sense of tightness. This is good. So they're sharing that this also is having to do with trusting and knowing. And I want to cry with saying this, trusting and knowing that you are enough, that you are worthy of receiving all that is meant for you and more. Like that is, they're sharing that is a big part of that one is strong. And that feels like it's for more than, that's for a lot of us. That feels like it's for a lot of us here. Wow, that is strong. I think that's a really good message for us to remember, is that we are enough. And we can receive that which is meant for us. And they're sharing here that a big piece of this is realizing and connecting to what it is that you truly authentically want, and being able to navigate and separate from what you see others have, that it's like a false want. There's a false sense of desire for these things that others have, and really coming to the place and space where you want you want those things too. That was a big energy. You want those things too. That is a huge piece of this. Because they're sharing here that there's a lot there. Once again, they're sharing there's just a lot of like out of body chasing going on with this. Like, I want what he has, or I want what she has, or I want what they have. And they're sharing with this, with that, there's also a sense, they brought me to the throat chakra here, where it's like blocking the throat chakra, and you speaking up and owning who you are and sharing who you are with the world. Because they're saying that your blueprint doesn't look like the blueprint of others. Like, you're not meant to look like someone else. And so, yeah, they're like, it's interesting because they're showing that the beautiful thing about this is that there are lots of paths to the abundance in which we are seeking. And there are a lot of paths and ways to get there. And in the paths and ways to get there, they're showing that, I'm going to do my best way to explain this visual here, but they're showing like as if there's like a shape or something, and there's all these fractals of light coming out of the shape, and there's like paths, like each one of these like fractals of lights coming out of the shape. I don't know what the shape is, but this, like all these fractals of light are just like a millimeter, whatever the smallest like measurement is. They're like the smallest amount apart from each other, yet they're all separate. And they're showing that even though you can be parallel to these other fractals, to these other passive lives, like, or light lines, whatever, I don't know what the word is, but like that we are each meant to be on each one of these lines that are coming out of this shape as like these paths here. And so they're saying that that's where sometimes it can get a little tricky, because they are so close and we're wanting to hop on another one that isn't ours, even though it is so close. And they're sharing a lot of times that there's when we're acting out of alignment of who we truly are. And they're saying that this isn't about constantly looking for ways that you're wrong. This isn't about constantly looking for ways that you aren't enough. This is about you owning your truth and coming into pure resonance with who you are, and then stepping and taking those steps forward. So Haley shares with the question. I don't remember what the question was. I think it was like, what came up for you in that silence here was word I got was connection. That's beautiful. Let me see if there's anything they want to share about that. Okay, so they're sharing with this that there's an aspect to connection. The way they showed it is that there's some of you who are meant to connect the dots for other people and to be able to bring that all in. They're showing like the way they're showing it is like a thread, I guess, like going to all these different dots and weaving them together and bringing them all into one and bringing them all into a space. Interesting. So they're sharing it. They're sharing that it's almost like with the connection, there's bringing all these dots together. And by doing that, you're creating one of those like fractal lines out. You're creating one of those fractal lines out that actually, so they're showing here like that original vision with the shape with all the like fractal lines of light out. They're sharing that. Okay, there's like so many things coming in pretty quickly here. So they're sharing that the vision that you may have had with that was not a finite vision, in that, okay, these are all the fractals of light and we all have, our own line to be on. They're showing that with the connection, with weaving that all together, what that's doing is that's actually opening up a new channel, like a new fractal of light, and it's making space for that. And with that, they're also showing that is paving the path for others to be able to step on a similar path, right? Where all individual little fractal lines go out. So there are those of us who are meant to pave those new paths, those new fractal paths in the vision, pave those new paths that don't currently exist, so that others can come down that path too, but come down that path in their own way. Not come down that path exactly how we have, but come down that path in our own way. Yeah, that was with that. Whew, this is fun. All right, so Renata, what came up for her was I got open your heart. Ooh, and Renata, at my time, it shows that you post that at 7:11. How beautiful. So she got open your heart in that silence. So let's see what they have to share about that. Okay, so they're sharing with this. I mean, they're immediately like, yes, 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 more of opening your heart. But then the question comes with, how do you open your heart? And how does opening your heart tie into abundance? And they're saying that it's quite easy from their perspective how it all ties in, because the more open that your heart is, the less judgment that you have for yourself and others, the less judgment that you have that leads to fear, that leads to anxiety, that leads to like being nervous about things. And they're sharing that with this, there's the reason it all ties in, when you're able to open up your heart, what you are is you're tapping into a place of unconditional love. And unconditional love is the fuel that helps you to be able to, they're sharing so many things with this, like you're able to react less, you're able to have more peace, you're able to have more joy in your life. And from those places, when you have more joy and you have more peace, they're like, it's as if they're sharing, like, it's as if there's okay, there's like multiple people who are in a very similar reality with very similar circumstances, yet each person has totally different like directions and outcomes that they take. And so when each person is taking their different steps in the way that they're interpreting the information, each person is only interpreting the information based on their level of consciousness, based on their level of spiritual growth, based on their level of understanding themselves, based on their level of releasing traumas and releasing stress and releasing and learning and growing from these things. So each person, based on where they're at in their journey, are going to have different reactions to the same thing. They're going to have different responses to the same thing. And so they're sharing that that's part, like, let me ask him how we can tie all this together, because I got a little lost in the words there in explaining it. Let me tune back in here. Okay. So they're bringing back to the opening your heart. So when you're opening your heart, that is one of the portals into abundance, because when you have a more open heart, you're able to like see things for what they are and see through the illusions. And when you're able to see through the illusions, you're able to stay grounded and rooted in who you are. And it's these things, the ability for us to stand in our truth that allows us to tap into the frequency of abundance, that allows us to be able to align to this, to be able to invite more in. Yeah, they're sharing here, like, they're sharing here. The thing is it's interesting. Like, it's this dichotomy of really wanting something really bad and focusing all of our effort and attention on it, and in a way that like repels it by us doing that, and at the same time setting the desire for it and like relaxing and letting go. And they're sharing, like, a big example with this is all of the things they've already been sharing. Like, they're sharing that when we're able to shed the layers, when we're able to release the stories, when we're able to drop the judgments internally and externally, then we are able to, like, they're showing, like Renata was saying, like, open our hearts even more, but also we're able to like attract in even more, because we're like less attached to the outcomes of how it's happening, yet we're staying super grounded in who we are and our truth. And by doing that, we're taking the aligned actions and the aligned steps that we know we need to take to move forward, but we're holding that frequency, we're holding that resonance, we're staying strong in that. And that, like, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing like the strongest of light pillar inside each one of us, right? Like tapping into the strongest of light pillar inside of each one of us. And that is what we are holding firm on. And by holding firm on that, everything else like just happens. But the thing is that what happens, they're like, you know, they're like, it's that easy. They're like, it's that easy. And it's also that difficult, because when we overthink things and we're like trying too hard and we're getting in it, like it's part of the process. Like, it's that easy. It's that easy. And they want us to remember that, because it's about remembering, like, they're like, it's about remembering who we are. Who we are. And Michelle, you said yes at 7:22. That is so perfect. So perfect. Okay. So I'm going to tune in and see what else they have to say about this. If you have any questions about abundance, anything that you want to ask them, type them in the comments, and I will pop between what they're sharing and the comments to be able to answer those questions, and even tune in to like how it relates to you as well. I'll tune into both for that. So type those in if you have any questions about abundance. Okay. I know one of the other things they said they wanted to talk about was how to open up channels of abundance in your life. So let me see what they want to share with that. All right, I have a song playing in my head. I'm searching it right now. Can't remember, but it's like because I'm free, free to be me. I'm free to be me. I'm free as can be. And I'm not saying it's a song you guys know because I've been listening to a playlist, like a high vibrational playlist that has all like powerful affirmative words in it. So those are the things that are playing in my head and that they're just playing that song like um it's just like because I'm free, free to be me. I'm free to be me. I'm free as can be. I'm free to be me. And I don't remember the name of the song, but I can maybe come back and post in the comments or something. But that's just what's playing for us to be able to open up the channels of abundance. Like that is a key foundation. And they're like, we know that we're repeating ourselves, but these things need to be continued to be heard for us to be able to recognize this and to own our own. Interesting. So what was coming through is they're like to own our own, like, it's funny. They keep wanting me to pause on saying that. So like what I was getting ready to say is to own our, and then every time that comes up, I have been feeling like a headache and I had energy moving to that. And what the words were is like to own our own uniqueness. And every time I started to say that, like they kept stopping me and I was feeling things in different ways, which is a mirror in the in this thing being stopping us. And I say us because I'm not going to say what I believe. Okay, they want me to say. So they're like, okay. So what I was going to say is I believe that we all, like, as much as we can stand our own truth, there's still always layers like where we can continue to step in and own who we are. We're continuing to learn who we are at a deeper level. And so there is no like there that we get to. We just become more and more, as they were saying, like those light, what was the word they said? Pillars, I think is what they said, like those light pillars. That's more and more what we are stepping into as we learn ourselves. Okay, so let's go back to opening up channels of abundance in your life. Okay, so the way they're showing it now is one of the things that we can do is they're showing like a room, and they're showing that some of us have one door open for abundance to come in. Like there's one door in this room, and they're wanting to remind you that there are multiple doors. There are multiple ways for this to come in, and it doesn't just have to come into this one door that like you're looking at, that you're focusing on. And they're sharing that the more doors that you can have open, and at the same time, they're saying that these doors is having doors open that feel good. Not having doors open just to have them open. This isn't about opening as many doors as possible, because they're saying if you're opening all the doors, they're saying that they're sharing like that's like a sense of neediness, and as well as energy leaks is what they're saying with that. So if you're just opening up a ton of doors for abundance, they're saying that that's then kind of like it's too far. It's too needy. It's too much. Like you don't need to open all of the doors. They're saying, and opening up even more doors for the abundance to come in. And here they're specifically talking about financial abundance, and they're sharing this in the ways that it comes in. Like they're reminding me of the ways that it comes in for me is that, okay, they're reminding me a couple of things. I'm going to share this on here because I think it's really beautiful, and it's a great reminder for this. And I don't think I've shared this like publicly yet. So okay, we may have a door, and I'm speaking about myself, that like, okay, I want the abundance financially to come in through this door of my business. That's how I want to come in, or, your career, or whatever the door is, right? I want to come in this door. This is the door that makes sense. This is what I want to do. And so all these other ways that abundance is showing up for us, and I'm speaking about myself in the past here and continuing to unwind this, is I always find money, pennies, nickels, quarters, dimes. Like I always find money. And that is something that I would be like in the past, be like, oh, whatever, it's just a penny. It's not the millions of dollars that I want for my business, right? Like, oh, so what? It's a penny. Oh, so it's a nickel. So what? It's not that much. And kind of like saying no to those things, when really like I'm now in a state and in a place where I'm super grateful to find any of that. I'm like, this is great. And the ways that abundance come to me as well is that we'll be out and about, and I'll end up, someone will be like, oh yeah, I'll buy your lunch, or I'll buy your drink, or guess what? It's buy one, get one free, or, oh wow, like abundance comes to me, financial abundance comes to me in those types of ways too. And the most recent one is, and is that me sharing here on YouTube, and I'm so grateful. One of the followers, and he might be on here, I don't know, but Mario, he had reached out and he was like, I really want to donate to your channel. And I don't qualify on YouTube yet to be able to have the little thanks button that you see on other channels. And so he was like, I want to, I want to donate to your channel. And I was like, okay, how do I receive this? Right? Like, how do I open this door? And I got in my mind a little bit about, okay, what's the best way? I don't want to be cheesy. Should I just tell him no thanks? How do I navigate this? And I remembered that this was something that was part of this teaching, and part of learning in this experience is to open up the door and allow that door to be open without expectation, because the Jenny of the past would have opened up that door. So what I did, and I'm super excited for this, is I went and found a really secure website called buymeacoffee.com. And it's a way that people can donate if, they, maybe it's not aligned for them to get a reading or do other things, or they just love what's here and being shared in these different ways that I'm sharing these channeled messages. And so I shared that with him, and it's also available for anybody else who wants to do it too. And he ended up donating a very generous amount. And I was like blown away. And I was like so grateful. And the old Jenny would have been like, oh, wow, well, everybody, like, why is there not more coming in? Like, I just set this up. Like, why is there not more? Like, questioning and challenging what already came in. And like the new version of me is like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like, he donated 15 coffees. That's amazing. Like, I am so grateful for this. This is like the coolest thing ever. And I'm just celebrating. And now I have another door open, and I have no expectation that things have to come in that door. If it does, I'm super grateful for it. And as more doors open up, I'm going to open those things and allow it to come. And they wanted me to share this with you because it's the ways that we may not think of. It's other ways of it coming to us, and being open to those ways, being open to the other possibilities. And they're sharing here, if you have a business, having other ways, like having the doors open for people to come in to work into your business. Like, if the only way to work with you in your business is by talking to you, they're inviting you to open up other channels, like, so that people can find these ways and come in through the doors. Yeah, like they're like just having other options. That's something they wanted to share with that. Michelle said that was her question they just answered. So reminding you, if you have any questions that you want to type in the chat about abundance, I'm going to continue to tune in to, what they said they'd be talking about, and share whatever else comes through. And let's just do this for fun. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Can I remember? And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw up this link, because then you can kind of see if this makes sense. Just, I want to share it as an example. I'm so excited. Add banner. Okay. So that is the site, and that's like my page specifically. You can see how super simple it is and what's on there. It's just so simple. Like, I would have not thought of this. I'm just so grateful for that. So there's that if you want to check it out. Okay. Tuning back in, checking the comments. All right, let's see what else they want to share about activating abundance in our lives. Yeah, they're cycling through a lot of the things that they've already shared. Like, they're playing that song again, because I'm free to be me. They're playing that song again. And then they're just reminding of everything we've talked about. So I'm feeling like they're not really going to share a whole lot more on their own. I feel like they're going to speak to questions. If you have any questions, if you want to throw those in the chat, and I'm going to continue to tune in. But if there's no questions and there's nothing else, I will probably wrap up the live. If there's nothing else they want to say, but they were just like cycling through all the stuff they've already shared is what was coming up when I just tuned in there. Let me look and see what I put in my post and see if we got through everything. So the frequency of abundance and how to align to it. I know they touched on that a little bit. Why you might not be as open as you think. And let me know if you feel like these weren't touched on, but I feel like they talked about that. They talked a little bit about relaxing, letting go, and allowing, and how to open up channels of abundance in your life. I feel like they talked on all those things, but let me know, because you're here and I'm like the one like channeling. So I'm feeling more than maybe what's coming out in words that maybe isn't coming through for you. Okay, let's see. All right, so this will be fun. Michelle put a little question here in the chat. So let me tune in and see if there's anything for this. Michelle is asking, is the other door I'm looking at the right one to open, or is it too much for me? Okay, so all they're saying, Michelle, is they're saying you're overthinking it. That's it. Like, they're just like, you're overthinking it, is what they're sharing. With love, of course. So Renata is saying, is there a way for us to know when we have just relaxed enough to receive? Ooh, that's a good question, Renata. And Joan, awesome. I stumbled on this tonight and it's cool. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful, especially Saturday night. That's awesome. Okay. So is there a way for us to know when we have just relaxed enough to receive? Okay. The way that they're sharing it is that they shared it kind of like a feeling with me, is a feeling of, and I'm going to continue to tune in to see if they can ground this in even more. So they were sharing that it's, they were saying it's like it's a feeling of floating yet being grounded, being present and being detached. They're like, it's like this place where you're just like in this state of like joy and bliss. Like that's where the lightness comes from, where it's just like this place of just being grateful and just being in this place of detachment. Like they're going through those feelings all at once. Is that Renata? I feel like I'm there. I just got the biggest chills reading that. I want you to know that. Oof, I felt that. Yeah. And the other thing they're sharing here is a big piece of it is trusting. They're like sitting in this state of relaxedness and trusting. Whew, Renata, I'm feeling that, girl. Like, you're just typing messages and I'm like, oh, I just feel them every time you type them in. Oh, those are strong in a good way. Those are strong. But yeah, they're sharing here. A big thing is that when we're in this state that they were just sharing, and when we've tapped into that, is remembering and being aware. Okay, they're saying because we are humans. We are humans, and this is part of the process. Like, things are going to come up and we're going to have to, navigate this. We're going to have to navigate this, and it's going to come up. And they're saying that remembering we're in the state of relaxed feeling, and we are feeling, that we're there, we're receiving, and we're opening up to receiving even more, and to have energy move into that, is that they're reminding you that to pay attention and start to recognize like the triggers, the feelings, the like acts and the beliefs that come up when you get into like a forcing state and when you get into a pushing state. So when you're in that state, it's paying attention, because they're saying it's going to happen. It's more about how can you come back into that place? Like, they're showing me, like, they're saying, like, what are the rituals that you can do to bring you back to this space? Because it's going to happen. They're saying you're going to get triggered. You're going to get thrown off course. You're going to be in a forcing state, and recognizing how does that feel and how does that show up for you? And being aware of that, so that way you can bring yourself back into this space, back into this place. And they're sharing that this is where, these are examples, like this is where, clearing your energy, staying grounded, doing energy healing sessions, maybe working with crystals, journaling, like all of the different tools that we can use to be able to bring us back into a state. And they really want me to share here too. There's a lot of different energy healing, but one thing in specifically is the 7D Ahai energy. That's one of the things that you can use. And I believe that Haley is on this live right now, Haley Lads, because she put in a comment before. So Haley Lads does 7D Ahai energy healing. And that's something that, like, it's just different tools. You can use these different tools to help bring you back into a place, to help you heal, to help you move things. So I wanted to share that. Yeah, Haley's on here and she said yes. Haley, type in your URL and I'll share it on the screen, because I know I've got this on multiple platforms. So I'll share it on the screen so all platforms can see your URL or your Instagram or whatever would work best to be able to connect with you and learn more about that. Okay, so Joan says, will I attract the right people to attend my upcoming women's empowerment program without having to work so hard to find them? How can I let go and trust it will happen on its own? That's a beautiful question. And, I'm going to tune in this for Joan, but I want us all to listen to what comes through for this, because there is going to be things that you can pick up that are really going to resonate with you, that will help you, because there's aspects of this that will apply to us all. And even just saying that, like, as I'm saying it, like I'm feeling like a tightness in my like throat area, and whew, like that doesn't feel good. The tightness in my throat area doesn't feel good. And that feels like a fear to be seen, a fear to talk, a fear to put ourselves out there is what that feels like, that's coming up with that. So Joan, let me see. Will I attract the right people to attend my upcoming women's empowerment program without having to work so hard to find them? How can I let go and trust it will happen on its own? Okay, so the very first thing that they're sharing with you, Joan, here is to be kind to yourself. The very first thing that you can do is to be kind to yourself and to not beat yourself up for things not happening on the timeline that you have put out for yourself. They're showing that there's like a timeline and you have these certain like markers on the timeline, and there's a sense of pressure along the way. And so they're reminding you to relieve that pressure and not beating yourself up with this, and just like the way that they're showing is they're just showing you like shaking it all out, like shaking your body out and rolling your shoulders back and taking a deep breath and letting it go. And they're also sharing one thing that you can do here is that with a morning practice and asking, what are the next best steps I could take, and allowing yourself to, they're showing that for some of you, it's going to be journaling, but Joan, they're sharing that for you, like you're taking your phone or whatever, or a video record or a voice recorder, and you're like speaking it out. But they're also like, do whatever makes sense to you. But they were showing that specifically for you, like having you voicing it out and just letting it go, not letting your mind get in the way, and just letting it go, sharing what are the next best steps and just saying them, period. They just come out, and then you're going back and you're taking those steps. And they're sharing here that this is also about not judging if the steps are big enough or good enough or will have enough reach or anything like that. Just taking the steps and making sure that you're taking at least one every day. And they're sharing here that you are taking these steps, and they're wanting you to amplify. They're inviting you to amplify. They're inviting you to amplify the steps that you're taking, and to do it from this place that they're talking about, like do it from this place of detachment and you coming from your heart and following those steps. And they're saying that there's a lot of like logical pressure, logical assessment. I don't know, like they're saying there's like a lot of logical stuff happening on with this event. And so coming out of the logic and coming into the heart, they're saying that right there is where the trust is happening. The trust is happening in that space, and being able to drop out of the mind, and the mind wanting to control all the steps and how it unfolds. Okay, because they're sharing that, they're showing me a vision that you have like this way that you want it to unfold, and that you have a level of attachment to the way that it will unfold. And they're saying that if you can practice these things as it's coming up, it's still going to happen amazingly. And in the way that it's meant to, you're going to learn a lesson as part of this, but it's going to happen. Like, it's almost like you see it happening this way, and it's like going to happen this way, and it's still going to be amazing, but it's not going to happen the way that you like are attached to. So I trust that that's landing with you. Since this is Jenny. I send you all of luck on that. And if you want to post in the link or in the chat what the Women's Empowerment Program is, I can share that as well here on the live. And then if anybody feels called, they can connect with you for more info. Yep, Renata. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, got it. Feed the lightness and trust. That's awesome. Yeah, this feels really good, guys. Ladies, gentlemen, people. I think I grew up in the 90s, so guys is like my go-to name, but I know now that everybody, people, this feels good. Friends. Let me see if there's anything else they want to share or if any other questions pop up here for you. Oh, and while that's happening, let me remind you guys, if you weren't on in the beginning, I give free Akashic Record, amazing, powerful channel messages every week in your inbox. If you want to sign up, that link will take you to the page, jennyholla.com. So you can go there. I'd love to have you on there. Only come if you want to. There's no pressure. I only want people who want to be there. That way the energy is really clean and pure in that environment. And if you want to get your own personalized one-on-one Akashic Record reading, you can go to akashicactivations.com and you can sign up for that. I have a couple different options there. And of course, if you want to chat first and find what would be the right fit for you, we can totally talk about that. And the other thing is, the other thing that I was going to say is that I am going to be launching a 7 Weeks of Magic group program. And so if you want to hear more about that, let me know. I will share more details on social media. So if you're not following me, you can follow me at the Akashic Nomad. Okay, so Elizabeth, hi Elizabeth. She said, I understand this. They're saying approach to the Akashic Record reading. I'm taking that you're asking in the way that I'm sharing the information. They're saying that's just the way that I'm using. So when I'm translating the information, oh, it sounds a lot like a psychic reading. So the way that I am sharing about the Akashic Record Keepers, I mean, I could say that specifically the record keepers are saying, or they're sharing, because I'm using it as a way to distinguish between like something I'm saying or something that I'm picking up from the record keeper. So that is something that, thank you for asking and pointing that out. I'd love to hear more. You can reach out to me or you can continue to put some chat in here. I would love to hear more and your perspective on that, because I know that we've gone through the same training with Akashic Records stuff. So maybe it's just a languaging and me saying the record keepers are saying, this is what they're sharing. This is what is coming through. So Joan says, I'm teaching an 8-week program called The Courage to Speak Up starting on May 10th. Awesome. Let me throw that up here. So if you guys want to connect with Joan, she puts that on LinkedIn. So that's how you can find her if that's what connects with you the best. And that's what you're drawn to. Thank you, Joan, for sharing. Awesome. Let me see if there's anything else that the record keepers would like to share about this. Thank you, Elizabeth, for the feedback. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that concludes the message for today. I appreciate you guys joining. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being live. Thank you for being a part of this. And I will be going live on the 11th and doing free mini readings. And we asked here, how can you get on my list? So this is where I pushed the wrong one here. So weekly Akashic Record messages in your inbox. You can go to jennyholla.com if you want to get on the list and receive those. So grateful to have you here. I'll see you guys on the 11th for free readings, free mini readings, and then on the 22nd again. So mark those days, and I'm sure I'll be doing other pop-up stuff. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys soon. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend.